everybody, and welcome back to Magic City Moors. Hope you're doing good this week. This isn't going to be really a breeding update video, but I'm just going to kind of talk about some things with you guys. I wanted to address the situation about Slither Inc. or Slither Exotics, the Samson Pruitt situation, because I haven't talked about that. And I know usually in between videos we do a hot topic video, so I guess that will be our topic this time. This is Falcor. You've seen him before. He's our fruit passion ball python, otherwise you can call him a banana mystic potion. If you see that my left eye is red, it is. I just got done with my right eye being red for a couple days, and that went away. Now my other eye is, so I really don't know what's going on, but it's very weird, and I hope it goes away and doesn't come back. I haven't felt very good lately, but anyway, let's get into the video. And I can get more snakes out for you guys if you want me to. I don't have to just have Falcor out the whole time. But anyway, if you don't know what's happened with that, if you aren't a part of the reptile community or you just really aren't aware, the last big thing that we had happen was the FWC thing with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission going down there and doing what they did, murdering that guy's entire collection pretty much. And now this thing that we've had happen has got to do with someone that's a big part of the reptile community, like a huge name. He's somebody that has, you know, made his name in reticulated pythons, and he's, you know, known, very widely known person. And this was a situation where some ex-employees for Samson Pruitt came out, and they had photos and, you know, just physical evidence, things like that, of a lot of snakes in his collection, severely neglected, either already dead in the photos or really sick, just living in deplorable conditions. And these people finally got to a point where they felt like they could speak out about it, and they did. And so the word got out on social media, and there were several YouTube videos made. And correct me if I'm wrong if I say the names wrong, but Rodney Bolick, Lucas Bagnera, and also Nathan Katz. They did some videos highlighting a lot of what was going on and had some of the employees, the ex-employees, speak on it. And one of the big reasons why this all happened has to do with the overhead issue that he had. You know, a lot of it's got to do with him as a person, and, you know, the morale of it all. But a lot of it's got to do with the number of animals and just the conditions that they were kept in. He wanted to be a really, really big breeder. He wanted to mass produce all these snakes. And he had way more snakes than he needed to breed. And as far as like female and male adult reticulated pythons, he had hundreds of them, but he was only breeding an actual small percentage of them. And then also, you know, he didn't have enough staff, and some of the staff would talk about how they would try to cycle through the animals. They were all given sort of like a certain number of animals to be responsible for. And because the collection was so large, a lot of times it would take an entire 7 days for that one employee to get back to the same snake tub. So if you see like our little operation in here, we've got these 3 adult racks behind me. We've got the hatchling rack back there. And over on the other side of the room, we've got our 6 larger PVC enclosures. Think about that in like just hundreds of animals, you know, and trying to get through that entire collection, cleaning everything out, keeping things maintained, keeping everybody fed, and having very little staff to do that. And it just, there wasn't a real big, great business plan, and everything just wasn't being done the right way, you know, and the animals suffered for it. And so that's why, as a small scale breeder, I'm not saying anything in terms of like being a small scale breeder is more ethical than being a large scale commercial breeder. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying whether you're going to breed on a smaller scale like we do from our home, where people actually come here to purchase snakes and talk to us and everything like that, or you're going to have a large operation, you have to know how many animals you can handle. You have to know how many animals you can properly maintain with whoever you've got, whether you're hiring people, whether it's just you and your spouse or partner or friend. You have to do right by the animals. Here at Magic City Morse, we have about 21 snakes, and that's including a couple that we still have for sale. So we don't really have, compared to a lot of people, a ton of snakes. And it's my husband and I. He mainly does the care, the daily care for them, and then I'm pretty much the face of the brand, and I do the YouTube videos and social media and marketing. I handle shipping, talking to customers. I handle a lot of the coordination and organization, social media marketing stuff. And I do still come in here when I can and help with the snakes, but he's the one that is the main person doing all the care. But now, if we had twice as many snakes as we have, for example, there would then need to be a second person, whether it be me or somebody that we would have come in and help us, because you can't just get these animals and collect them in a room and end up with hundreds of them and then run into a problem where you can't take care of them and you can't, you should be able to visit every tub of every animal you have every day, at least once a day, preferably twice a day at least, and this wasn't happening over there. There have been so many animals die and just get sick. There's been shows that he's vended at where people's animals or collections have gotten sick just from being set up next to him. It's that bad. And, with all the arguments that have been had in the past about racks and whether keeping snakes in racks is like abuse or not, this kind of thing that Samson was doing, that really makes a lot of us breeders that use rack systems look really bad. Because you can keep snakes in racks and do it the right way. You can keep them in the appropriate size tub. That was a big problem over there, is a lot of these really large constrictors were kept in super small tubs. You can have the right tub size. You can have fresh bedding or substrate. You can have fresh water daily. You can provide enrichment inside of these tubs. You can take them out of the tubs every day and give them outside time like this so that they're not just in their tub. There's a lot of things you can do. So just because you use racks doesn't really mean that you're like a bad person or your snake never gets to come out, or you're keeping it in crappy conditions. But when a lot of the pictures came out from what was going on over there, it really makes it look like racks and tubs are just terrible and bad and abuse. Because what happened was there were so many animals and they were not getting cycled through because they were short-staffed and it wasn't possible. And a lot of these animals just sat and rotted in these tubs. Or, they would vomit up their meal and it would sit there with them for weeks. Or this feces, things like that. And over time, that really creates a problem and it will kill the animal. So let me get another snake out for you guys since this video is kind of long. Okay. Whoop. Yeah, this is our pied girl. She doesn't really like anybody, but anyway. So that brings up transparency when you're a breeder. Because, people always like to assume that if you breed anything, if you breed any kind of animal, you must be exploiting the animal in some way. You must only care about profit. The animal, can't be in its best situation if you're a breeder. The thing about it is you can be a breeder and still care about your animals. You can be what's called an ethical breeder. An ethical breeder is someone that is going to morally do the right thing when it comes to their animals. And we are a business. We do make money off of the hatchlings that we sell, but it's not like we're doing any of the adult males and females any harm by how we operate, taking care of them the right way. We would never breed them if they were sick. We would never work with bad genetics. Our husbandry is really good. All of our snakes are in appropriate tub sizes. And we don't take on too much, we don't take on more than we can handle. For example, our one hatchling rack that we have back here has 36 tubs. Well, knowing what we know, we would not ever try to have too many clutches at one time, because we know that for an extended period of time, we're going to have enough room to house all of the babies until they go to homes. Now, when Harley gets to be another year or two old and she's fully mature and she's ready to have babies and we breed her with Caw, we may not do ball pythons that year, and that's because boa constrictors can actually have over 30 babies. So, knowing that, unless we decided to invest in another hatchling rack like we have, we would probably only do boa constrictors that year, because we would go, okay, number one, there's that many babies. Number two, boa constrictors can be a little bit harder to find homes because people know that boas get to be at a much larger size than ball pythons. So there may not be as many people wanting to take on a snake that's going to get that large, because they know that down the line they're going to have enclosure upgrades. It's going to get more expensive with feeding, etc. So the majority of people are going to want to go with the ball python or something smaller than that. So when you don't have a facility, you don't have, a big business like that where you've got staff and you've got employees and you've got big incubators and you've got room for a bunch of hatchlings, you don't have too much overhead. You don't have too much going on. You have to be smart about it. And that's why in our videos, we always try to be transparent. We always try to show you this room. We don't hide anything. We want y'all to know what's going on over here, because this is where it all happens. And this is where the animals live. And when people come over here to buy snakes from us, we totally invite them to come up here. We'll pull tubs out. We don't hide anything. And that's how breeders should be. That's how good breeders should be. So it's very sad and unfortunate that this has happened and kind of been a thing that's come out. And I didn't want to put any of the photos in this video because I've seen them and they're pretty bad, and I really don't want to show them off any more than they've already been shown on the internet. But there's more that's came out. There's more people that have stepped forward and talked about it. I know Intrepid Exotics has done a video on it with, I believe, somebody that used to be a manager there. And, there's always going to be people in the reptile community that we look down upon, that we don't respect, that we wish, weren't a part of the hobby. But, the only thing that we can do as keepers and breeders is try to do the best we can ourselves. Try to advocate for these animals. Do the right thing with our husbandry and our care. And, it's one of those things to where you know what you're doing at your facility or at your home. You know what kind of keeper or what kind of breeder you are. And, like I've said in other videos, there's been a battle, seems like forever, between keepers and breeders, trying to talk about who has the moral high ground. And, I think that more than ever, especially now, we need to all be coming together. We really need to be coming together and making a change within the community. So that's why I wanted to make a video today. I wanted to speak on it because as a breeder, even though I'm not a large scale commercial breeder, I wanted to still talk about it because it's important. We've got to take care of these animals. It can be easy to go, hey, let's collect 100 snakes in a bedroom in racks. Yes, snakes are very easy to maintain when it comes to daily care. They eat every 2-ish weeks if they're an adult ball python. And then, if they're a larger constrictor than that, sometimes they eat every 3 to 4 weeks, and they eat larger prey, obviously, so they're full for longer. And there's just not a ton of daily care compared to maybe a lot of other lizards and amphibians and things like that, especially like with cats or dogs. Snakes are just not an animal that requires a lot on the daily. And so that's why it can be easy to get too many of them and be in over your head and think that you can do it and think that you can maintain it. And then, you know, either your animals suffer and you can't take care of them all properly, or you end up having to downsize, you end up having to rehome because you just can't do it all by yourself. So I think that if you do want to become a large-scale commercial breeder, you really need to have a game plan. You need to have the people on your side that are going to help you. You need to have partners. You need to have the funds available to be able to start this and have the right equipment and take care of these animals the right way. You don't just get a bunch of snakes and stuff them in your house in deplorable conditions or buildings outside. Like you need to really be able to house these animals the correct way and maintain it with the staff you have. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Here's a close-up of Celine if you want to see her. There she is. She's really pretty. She just doesn't really like people. But the next video that we do will be a breeding update video. Still don't have any females laying yet, so we're going to keep our eye out for that. But we hope that you consider us for your next pet snake. And we wanted to just put the video out there talking about this because we really care about these animals and we hope you do too. See you next time.